I've been in recruitment for 14 years now, I believe. Feels a lot longer. I started off in oil and gas, as many of us did. But obviously, the oil and gas market has been sort of particularly turbulent over the last 15, 20 years. So started off with working with major developers, operators, and more recently have, although that market has come back, have been doing a lot within sort of renewable energy, hydrogen, clean tech, and the associated technologies within that space. I think that's the golden question, really. I think everyone tries to pinpoint a certain reason why the market is changing. The bottom line is everyone needs mobility, everyone needs heat, needs light. And I think what's been really interesting is some of the geopolitical issues that have shaped the market. I think some of them are very positive, but you look at the very unfortunate situation that's going on with Russia-Ukraine at the moment. I think what that has opened up, certainly Northern Europe, is the need for energy security. I think that's one of the reasons why we're doing so much work certainly within the gas industry, large critical infrastructure projects with regasification, a lot of sort of floating storage regasification units in places like the Netherlands, northern France. And that really is obviously to provide affordable but also stable gas supply into Northern Europe. So that's been a really interesting market. I think one thing that I've really enjoyed has been the resurgence of solar. The wind market is taking a bit of a hammering, excuse the pun, but the solar market is particularly interesting. I think probably the major trend at the moment is within data and AI. Everyone's talking about this hyperscaling. I think what people don't realise is that these data centres use a huge amount of power, but they also use a huge amount of power for things like sort of heating and cooling. So that's a really interesting market for ourselves at the moment, is that sort of critical power infrastructure, and an area that we're doing a lot of work, specifically in the Middle East, North America, with some pretty interesting development companies. Yeah, so I think there's a number of things really. I think what I've really enjoyed in my first sort of few months here is we've made some really, really strong additions. We've developed internal talent acquisition, marketing. We've brought people in who've got real experience, not necessarily in that sector, but a level of tenacity in the recruitment space. I think the expansion really. I think we've got a new office coming, which is really, really exciting. That kind of gives us that springboard to take the business to a really, really good level. We're 35 people at the moment. I know the plans is to at least double that over the next sort of year to 18 months, and that presents its own challenges. I think we've got our sort of internal structure to look at, but we've got to put the business in a position where we can really scale. I think one of the most exciting areas that I've been involved in is certainly our sort of contracting and interim solutions. Not only is it very good for the business, but it allows us to manage and have a real impact in terms of the talent in the market, and continue to building relationships with new contractors, new clients, and take ourselves away from that sort of transactional recruitment space, which obviously we're very good at, but more into a sort of professional sort of managed services sector, which is where my background sort of sits as well. So yeah, very, very excited for the next few years.